Imagine stepping through a heavy wooden gate that slams shut behind you with a low, final thud, like the door to your own time has just been locked. No castles loom here. No glittering crowns or armored knights parade the streets. This is the real England of 950 AD. The gritty, smoke-filled world where ordinary families scratched out survival in one of the kingdom's most vital fortified towns. Winchester, heart of Wessex, where kings like Edmund rule from afar, but the true pulse beats in timber walls and hearth fires. What if everything you take for granted, warm beds, clean water, endless food, was gone? How would you wake up each morning knowing one careless spark or bad harvest could end it all? Stay with me, because this isn't fantasy. This is how real people lived and thrived against impossible odds. The year is 950. You're standing just inside the gates of Winchester, the burh that Alfred the Great rebuilt decades earlier to shield against Viking raids. The air hits you first. Cool, damp, heavy with wood smoke that clings to everything like a second skin. A faint gray pall hangs over the thatched roofs, never quite lifting even in daylight. This isn't the fresh breeze of open fields. It's the breath of a town engineered for endurance. Narrow streets twist between crowded timber houses, leaning together for mutual support, their walls patched with wattle and daub-woven branches sealed with clay and straw. Nothing here is planned for beauty. Every crooked lane, every sagging roof grew out of pure necessity. The earthen ramparts rise around you, topped with sharp wooden palisades, a constant reminder. Beyond these walls stretch dense forests, treacherous marshes, and the ever-present shadow of danger. Viking longships haven't struck as often lately, but the memory lingers in every watchtower and reinforced gate. Peace feels borrowed, not owned. How long could you last if raiders appeared tomorrow? You start walking. The ground is uneven, churned into mud by cartwheels, livestock, and countless boots. In wet seasons like this, it sucks at your feet. In dry ones, dust clouds rise. A loose pig roots through street refuse. Chickens dart from underfoot as a woman hurries past with a wooden bucket, cloak drawn tight against the chill. She doesn't glance your way. Her mind is already on the dozen tasks ahead before nightfall. Sounds build slowly. The distant clang of a blacksmith's hammer, shaping iron. The wheeze of bellows pumping air into glowing coals. The creak of an ox cart laboring over ruts. Voices stay low and purposeful. Shouting wastes breath better saved for work. Routine isn't habit here, it's armor. At the town center stands the minster, its stone walls stark against the sea of timber and thatch. This isn't just a church, it's the beating heart. Bells toll the hours with unerring certainty. No mechanical clocks exist yet. Their peals drift over rooftops, calling people to prayer. Marking time in a world without schedules. Nearby, royal officials conduct business, collecting taxes in silver pennies stamped with the king's face, overseeing trade, enforcing laws. Winchester isn't a sleepy village. It's a political and economic hub, where coins change hands more often than in the countryside. Though barter still rules grain for tools, wool for salt, pottery for iron. Wealth circulates, but slowly, tied to seasons and sweat. The streets close in tighter as you go deeper. Houses press shoulder to shoulder, gaps so narrow you could touch both walls at once. Privacy, almost non-existent. Voices carry through thin walls. a baby's cry, murmured conversations, the crackle of fires. Everyone knows everyone else's business, for better or worse. Mutual dependence breeds security, but also scrutiny. One family's misfortune ripples to neighbors. One person's laziness endangers the whole. Now you reach a typical Saxon home. The low doorway forces you to duck as you enter. Light vanishes instantly, then slowly returns in flickers from the central hearth. No chimney. Smoke curls upward, blackening beams overhead before slipping out a vent in the thatch. Your eyes sting at first, but lungs adjust over time, the way everything here adapts. The floor is packed, earth scattered with rushes to soak up dampness and dampen smells. Meat hangs from racks, curing in the smoke. The house stretches perhaps 30 feet long, half as wide. Timber posts hold up wattle and daub walls. Furniture is minimal and functional, a rough-hewn table, low stools, benches, wooden chests for clothes and tools. Nothing decorative. Every inch earns its keep. A family moves through morning routines with quiet efficiency. The wife kneels by the hearth, feeding dry kindling to embers until flames leap. Fire isn't convenience, it's life. Lose it, and cold creeps in. Food stays raw. Darkness wins. She hangs a small iron cauldron over the blaze, adding water and crushed grain for pottage. Nearby, she works the quernstone, pushing the upper disc in endless circles, grinding barley into coarse flour. The motion grinds into her shoulders, but she never pauses. This is sustenance. A child fetches kindling, stacking it carefully. Another weeds the small garden plot outside, cabbage, leeks, beans fighting the short-growing season. The husband readies himself, fastening a woolen cloak with a bronze brooch, gathering tools for the fields. Land isn't fully owned. Strips are allocated by custom, tied to obligations to lords, and ultimately the king. Service shapes freedom. Clothing mirrors necessity. Wool and linen layers for warmth. Colors faded from plant dyes, muted greens, browns, blues. Garments are mended endlessly, worn until threadbare. Leather shoes, often sodden, prioritize durability over comfort. No one dresses for show. Meals are simple but vital. Pottage thickens in the cauldron. Grains, vegetables, herbs for flavor. Meat, pork, beef, mutton appears rarely, saved for feasts or salted after autumn slaughter. Ale flows freely, safer than questionable water. Food is eaten from shared bowls with wooden spoons, quickly, efficiently. No elaborate rituals, just fuel for the day ahead. Nights bring the family together near the hearth's warmth. Raised platforms of straw and wool serve as beds. Everyone sleeps close for heat. Clothes stay on against the cold. Once the fire dims to embers, darkness swallows the room, broken only by their soft red glow. But Winchester doesn't sleep. Outside, the rhythm continues. Market days swell the streets with traders bartering goods. Craftsmen hammer tools for farm and defense. Monks in the minster copy manuscripts by candlelight, preserving laws, scriptures, knowledge. Faith threads through everything. Morning prayers frame the day. Small crosses guard doorways against evil. Sermons stress obedience, humility. In a world of sudden illness, crop failure, or violence, belief offers anchor hope that endurance has purpose beyond mere survival. As shadows lengthen, activity eases but never stops. Tools are sharpened by firelight. Wool spins into thread on drop spindles. Stories pass quietly, tales of ancestors, miracles, warnings
Yes, we
binding
must
the
remember
community in
those who
shared
came before
memory.
us.
Fires
Their
glow
strength
through
built
narrow
these walls.
openings,
Their-
each a tiny defiance against the encroaching dark. Here, in 950 Winchester, life isn't about comfort or choice. It's about relentless continuity. Waking before dawn, tending fire, grinding grain,
I offer
honoring
this prayer in humble
obligations,
duty.
praying for tomorrow.
Guide us.
Generations
Gently now,
endured
follow the
not
line.
through ease,
That's it,
but
lad.
through discipline, cooperation, and unshakable faith. Well, picture it. No electricity, no safety net. Yet families persist, build, believe. What would break you in
Reflecting
their
what
world,
break you in their
and
world,
what might
teach
it
about
teach
home.
you about your
Pondering
own?
scenes.
The gate waits behind you, but the question lingers. Could you have survived?